Good evening, my name is Kacper Paradowski and welcome to Poland Daily News. 35 years ago, communist police brutally tortured and murdered Catholic priest Jerzy Popiełuszko. During the period of martial law in Poland, this young cleric gave hope to countless workers and Solidarity members persecuted by the communist regime. To this day, his death is shrouded in secrecy, as Jerzy Popiełuszko is both a martyr and a beacon for Polish Catholics. Jerzy Popiełuszko was only 37 years old when a special detachment of Communist Secret Service captured, tortured and murdered him. His body was eventually sunk in a bag loaded with stones about 150 kilometers from Warsaw. That was done in order to make sure no one would ever learn about the fate of this popular cleric. Jerzy Popiełuszko became a public figure during martial law in Poland when he organized prayers for the fatherland at the Warsaw church he served in. His main message was to overcome evil with good, where the evil meant oppression from the communist regime. Allegedly, his fate was decided at the top tier of the ruling junta. Later, the government blamed the security officers who allegedly got too rough and killed the priest with no consent from their superiors. 35th anniversary of this brutal murder remains so tragic, especially considering the fact that the perpetrators are alive and well and still receive state pensions. People who worked with priest Jerzy still remember him as a humble person whose leadership shined during the darkness of communist Poland. Today, the president of the Institute for National Remembrance, Dr. Jarosław Szarek, awarded several co-workers of priest Jerzy with the Freedom and Solidarity Cross. It were your actions that gave us hope and strength in time when people lost hope. We are now in a free and independent Poland. A generation has passed, but you are still together, bound by the ideas of solidarity. I thank you for that. Long live Free Poland, long live Solidarity resistance groups. The British House of Commons accepted an amendment postponing the vote on the acceptance of the withdrawal agreement negotiated by Boris Johnson and the European Union on Thursday. This means that, in accordance with the so-called Benn Act, Johnson, despite his vocal reluctance, might have to ask for Brexit to be postponed until the end of January 2020. While decisions were being made in the British Parliament regarding the Brexit agreement, tens of thousands of people took part in a demonstration in central London. It was demanded that the agreement on Brexit conditions agreed with the European Union be put to a referendum. Participants in the march, which started at noon on Park Lane Avenue near Hyde Park, moved towards Westminster Palace, the seat of the British Parliament.
He has renegotiated the withdrawal agreement and made it even worse. He's renegotiated the political declaration and made that even worse. We're having a debate today on a text for which there is no economic impact assessment and no accompanying legal advice.
And I do hope that in assembling for the purposes of a meaningful vote, that we will indeed be allowed to have a meaningful vote this evening.
According to the organisers of the People's Vote campaign, they want to check whether the British are satisfied with the terms of the agreement agreed on Thursday by Boris Johnson's government. More than 500,000 people, according to police estimates, took part in yesterday's protests in Barcelona, which broke out after convictions were made against the leaders of Catalan separatists. Since Monday, more than 300 people have been injured due to the unrest in Catalonia, including more than 200 policemen. The riots in Catalonia began on Monday, a few hours after the Spanish Supreme Court announced the verdict on Catalan separatist politicians who in 2017 organized an independence referendum in the region. 9 of them were sentenced to imprisonment, ranging from 9 to 13 years. Today at midnight local time, a 24-hour general strike in Catalonia ended, a form of opposition to the conviction of separatist politicians. The protest led to a serious communication chaos in the region, mainly due to numerous blockages of highways. We demand the central government to immediately open a dialogue and negotiations for a political and democratic way out. We thank all Catalans for their democratic strength, their commitment to human, civil and political rights and freedom. The cause of rights and freedom are unstoppable.
We came back to the hotel up here around about 10:30 and there were fires
and obviously we'd seen dark smoke from over there. We're staying at the hotel H10, so we had a good view from the balcony, and I just found it quite interesting, really. I thought the police dealt with it exceptionally well. And we don't, well, I don't feel afraid, do you? We feel very comfortable. I felt comfortable last night, to be honest.
Thousands of demonstrators poured into Lebanon's streets on Saturday for a third day of anti-government protests. Demonstrators blame politicians for driving the country to the economic brink. Allegedly, the protests were sparked by government plans to tax WhatsApp, an online communicator. Our correspondent, Paweł Rakowski, is in Lebanon. Paweł, are the current protests aligned with the religious division?
No, we cannot say so. I mean, in Lebanon there are 18 religious ethnic groups recognized by the government, and all of them are united against the nowadays economical situation and against the government. What is very significant that in Lebanon we can see that in the Shia area there are protesters, in the Sunni area there are protesters, in the Christian area as well there are the same protests, and the roads are closed, the roads are blocked. And it makes very hard to communicate, to do any transfer in this country. So we gonna hear that, of course, that the religion somewhere it's in the back of the bone. In Lebanon, presidents always Maronite, Lebanese Catholic, and the prime minister is always a Sunni, and head deputy of the parliament it's always Shia. But the protests are not against the rules of the political issue in Lebanon, but against the economical, the line of the economics, which abandons very important areas of this of the country for the very long time, for many years, and it's going. So it has erupted.
Also, could you tell us what was the reaction of the Lebanese government?
It's difficult to say. I mean, like first it was said that Prime Minister Saad Hariri, gonna to put himself out of the office. Now we know that the Prime Minister prepared program of the reforms, of the economical reforms, and the government has 72 hours to put this program into the life. That was the reaction. I mean, of course, the protests itself has different meanings. For example, in certain parts of the town of the Lebanon, or in the army, because in Lebanon army is the most important. It's together with they are protesting together with the protesters, or at least they are not bothered by them. In other places, like in Beirut, for example, or in Sur in South Lebanon, there were clashes, and there are dozens of wounded and among the police officers and demonstrators.
Paweł Rakowski, thank you very much for shedding the light with Poland Daily. That is all for tonight. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for Poland Daily Business. Good night.